welcome back to Bet, Cinemonk, Sydney. Good to see you all. We've got Bernays in there. Bernays, it was fantastic to finally hear you talking last night over on Discord. Always good to put a voice to the name. We have got ZX in there, the one and only ZX. We've got Jose Ramon Francis, who always gets the full title. Jules is at work, but we're all thinking of Jules. We're sending Jules some positive vibes. And first today, a man that often lurks, but is never far from the mind of KBS, is a moron. And he isn't one of those, let me assure you. So kick back and I'll be with you real soon. Don't go anywhere. Hit like, hit share, but only if you care. There we go, and a big shout out to the Wookiee. Yes, indeed. And Rosie, since you always call me Kevy. Yes, indeed, we're back. We're live. I think we are. Yeah, we are. It's a sad day for me today. Yes, and oh, you like my alien? I've got him sat in a rather inappropriate position. I'll put him up on the table here. I don't want you people accusing me of any nefarious relations with our alien friends, okay? But it's a sad day for me. It's a sad day for me today. Why is it a sad day? Because, you should know by now I'm a big supporter of Glasgow Celtic, and it's been a crap season. That's not what made me cry. I've had all season to get used to that. But our captain, Scott Brown, he's finally left, and he's been there 14 years, And of course, typically the wee man came in and caught me with a tear running out my eye. Well, let me tell you, a grown man crying over another grown man leaving a football club. There's something far wrong with my head. But then again, I don't think any of you people out there really needed to be told that, right? Because I think we all know that there's definitely a lot wrong in my head. Absolutely. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to get into some chilled out conversation with you here today. We're going to have the latest chapter in, dare we call it, disclosure. I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers that ends up having my hand up a puppet. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Jimmy Jeans, I think there's a potential for a ventriloquist act to come there. He's got the dummy. Look, that's what I'm saying. It's in the background of his set, okay? And talking of Jimmy Jeans, let me pause 1 second here, because I really need to go and send Jimmy a link to this, because Jimmy is going to be our special guest over on the Kev Baker show today. So give me 2 seconds. Hello to you as well, Jocelyn and Zoe. And we'll get going in a second, but we're gonna do nothing serious here today. You won't be surprised to hear we never do anything too serious. But we've been talking about, as I call it, dare we call it disclosure for a while now, right? And I think there's no harm in admitting that I don't know what's going on. I know there must be some agenda of some kind, but I don't know. So I keep an open mind. And in the world of KBS, what I tend to do away from camera when I'm coming up for ideas for streams or shows is I game it out and I look at every single possibility from the could be to the absolutely ridiculous. Okay. But today I think we found some kind of middle ground. And I think you're going to enjoy this. And of course, don't forget coming up an hour from now, it is going to be episode number 1499. Tomorrow on the show with Scott Lopez, I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's going to be the 1500th episode. 1,500 times I'll have said good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I see, look, see, I can't remember because I need the music to cue me up. After 1,500 episodes, you become a robot that way. You hear the music and you know your cue. Well, at least sometimes. I can't say that letter though, right? It's a dirty letter. You know your P. Okay? Okay, you see? See how I done that? That was pretty clever on the fly. And definitely not scripted. Nothing around here scripted, let me assure you. So today we're going to blast off. And we're going to take a little bit of a look at a headline that the mother of KBS, I know it doesn't have the same ring as the mother of dragons, admittedly, but the mother of KBS sent me a link today. And it definitely got me thinking. It got me playing game theory. How could this potentially play into something else? And we're going to be talking about this here. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope discovers 5 Star Wars style double sun planets that could support alien life. Researchers studied data from the Kepler telescope on binary star systems. They looked at the mass of the two stars, their size, the distance, the planets. The team wanted to find binary systems with habitable Earth-like planets, and they say, I've heard it being said that binary systems are actually more common than the system we have with just one star. And can you imagine what that would be like if you lived on one of these planets that perhaps had multiple stars or multiple moons? Just how different that would be, quite literally, without flogging the pun. It'd be like a different world, right? And it says on here that would make them similar to Tatooine in the first released Star Wars movie, and in my opinion, probably still the best. Kepler 38, not a good ring to it, which is nearly 4,000 light years away, was the best candidate, although so far, despite being predicted, no rocky planets have been discovered. So could it be that perhaps thinking ahead, what is going to be the next big leap and jump, or one small step for man, one giant leap for disclosure kind? Because we've had the UFOs, or as we call them now, UAPs. We are on the verge of a report going to Congress that I don't want to like pee on anyone's bonfire, but I don't think it's going to be like the aha, they're admitting everything moment that some people suspect it might be. I'm not that confident. But what comes next? Could it be that we are told news of a planet being discovered that has just the right kind of heat, just the right Goldilocks zone kind of place that they talk about? And not only that, but take it one step further. Potentially tell us that they're detecting signals or indicators that suggest that not only could it harbor life, but may in fact harbor intelligent life. It could be something as kind of way out there as some kind of Dyson sphere. one of these advanced civilizations that would have captured the power of their local star and be using that to power their technology. And of course, we've seen that talked about before with something called the Tabby star. And let me pull up something on the Tabby star here, just to throw this out there. Been a while since we've talked about the Tabby star. So the Tabby star is something also known as Boyajian's star. I prefer Tabby, to be honest with you. And designated KIC 84 blah blah blah. And it's Kepler again. It's an F-type main sequence star in the constellation of Cygnus, approximately 1,470 light years from Earth. Now, this is what makes it stand out from the rest of the kind of things that we've been looking at in recent years, is the fact that unusual light fluctuations of the star, including up to 22% dimming in brightness, were discovered by citizen scientists as part of the Planet Hunters project. Now, in September 2015, astronomers and citizen scientists associated with the project posted a preprint of an article describing the data and possible interpretations. So the Dyson sphere that I referred to, let me just get the definition of that up here. It's not a vacuum cleaner that will that comes in the shape of a sphere. Damn close though. Here we go. Dyson sphere. Maybe it is, maybe it sucks everything up, doesn't leave anything behind. Oh, don't say that. So a Dyson sphere is a hypothetical, okay? It's not anything that's like factual. It comes from basically science fiction talk, I would imagine. Hypothetical megastructure that completely encompasses a star and captures a large percentage of its power output. The concept is a thought experiment, and that's what we like to do here. There's our favourite cats. See how I said plural cats? Because it's both dead and alive, right? Schrodinger. Is this Schrodinger's sphere? It's both there and it's not. It's real and it isn't. Who knows? So, that attempts to explain how a spacefaring civilization would meet its energy requirements once those requirements exceed what can be generated from the home planet's resources alone. On a tiny fraction of a star's, only a tiny fraction of a star's energy emissions reaches the surface of any orbiting planet. Building structures encircling a star would enable a civilization to harvest more energy. And I think you get the general idea from that, right? So, like I said, I'm not here to tell you that this story we looked at first, that talks about these new 5 exoplanets that potentially could hold life. I'm not going to have the audacity or the craziness to tell you this is going to be the next thing. They're going to start pushing these planets and they're going to find one with life on it in the next 2 months. None of that here. But I think it's an avenue that we have to keep an eye on. Definitely need to keep an eye on, especially in light of this going up. Trying to remember the name. I think that's it. There we are. This could be the game changer that might take us one step closer to what I'm talking about here. Let me get a good page so you can see it. Here we go. So we're talking about the James Webb Space Telescope. It says Webb will be the largest, most powerful, and complex space telescope ever built and launched into space. It will fundamentally alter our understanding of the universe. You know, the Kepler that we often hear about, we talked about it there, it's just found on our few planets. That there, can you remember when that thing got going? It was like, wow. We had seen pictures of the universe that still to this day blow our mind. And with this current upgrade that's about to take place, and just getting it into space is going to be an absolutely gargantuan task. This here's like so, it kind of folds out. It's amazing, okay? But I think, in my layman's terms, this is going to be akin from Kepler being the best game in town to all of a sudden being rendered about as useless as like a 480p old webcam compared to what's going to look like something that's almost in comparison to what we're getting now, probably something on the scale of like 4K technology. Look, that's a really, really rough layman's way of trying to tell you this is like a huge leap forward in looking outwards. And could it be then, as we're looking outwards with this thing, we start to see more and more evidence that we ain't alone, folks. We just ain't. I don't ask that question anymore. For me, I think it's a done deal. There has to be, but it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. So let's take a quick look at some of the kind of images they've got here of this thing, because it's worth looking at. Let's see. Okay, so if we play this, I think we should probably see it. I'll put this down. There you go. It's all speeded up anyway. Hopefully I won't get whacked with some kind of thingy for this. But it says the J2 front angle GoPro time lapse of engineers deploying the James Webb Space Telescope. And this is happening at Northrop Grumman. This is one of these kind of military industrial complex companies. They're into everything. In fact, didn't Ed Snowden work there at one point before Booz Allen? Something rings a bell anyway. If we fast forward this a little bit, I'm not sure if they're actually going to show us it with all the sails out. Let's see. Okay. I want to see the full thing in all its glory. Go here. Let's see, images. Still gives a better idea. I mean, look at the size of that. That's like in newspeak, cray, right? Absolutely. And they've got to launch this, and then they've got to like unfurl the kind of dish. The amount of things that could go wrong on that and like render billions of dollars and years of time of research down the drain is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But I think this is another indicator of where we are right now as a civilization. Because whether we like it or not, you know, everything, time moves forward. And so do we as a civilization. And I know we would all like to have more control over where we're going, but it's kind of hard to argue against we're moving into that space age now, right? And you often hear people saying about the Jetsons. I thought we'd be living in the Jetson lifestyle by now. I was watching a video on Russia Today just the other day. I think we watched it over in Discord, where the Royal Marines are flying about in jetpacks and looks like something out of a computer game. That's where we are. And again, I'm trying to figure out why the change in 2017 when we got introduced to Luis Elizondo, the To the Stars Academy with Tom DeLonge started being like the kind of clearinghouse or the kind of or it felt like the clearinghouse for the Pentagon to use that as a front for, dare we call it, disclosure, right? And here we are now. I think most of the board of To the Stars Academy have kind of parted ways. We've got Luis Elizondo out there, here, there, everywhere. We've got this report coming. And I think we're on the cusp of yet another new chapter in, dare we call it, disclosure. And there's another thing going on right now that could very well play into this. And I want you to just come with me right to the beach of Speculation Island. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just telling you a fictional story here, okay? But if you imagine at one time there may have been a plan. There may have been a plan for, in the future, alien invasion. Or for this little thought experiment, let's call it a fake alien invasion, right? And imagine there was a plan out there, a hypothetical plan. You know, they'd probably call it something like, oh, I don't know, Project Blue Boot, Project Blue Book. No, no, let's go for Project Bluebeam, right? Remember, we're just on Speculation Island here. We're hypothesizing. And something factual we can throw in to make it kind of cool and make it look real, though, is Dr. Carol Rosen. And for those of you who don't know Dr. Carol Rosen, she was somebody that worked with Werner von Braun, and I am going to take an absolute liberty, and I'm going to play her famous clip again. I'm going to play her famous clip. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. There we go. This has got to be my most played clip on the show, I think, if I can find it. Don't tell me they've removed the one that everyone uses. Please don't do that. Let's see. There we go. I've found it. So if I come back over here, remember, we're just telling a story, but now I'm going to throw in something that did happen, just to make that story even cooler, right? So watch this.
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a 6th grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Werner von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him, during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space. And I said, you know, teachers don't stop until June. He said, no, you have to understand, this is February. And we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build the space-based weapon system, the first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids. And then he would repeat to me over and over.
You ready, folks? Are you ready? I want you to repeat it over and over again. Because this really ties into the story.
And the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. Well, at the time, I kind of...
So, the extraterrestrial threat. Now, let's go back to my hypothetical plan for just a moment, right? And, Project Bluebeam. You know, there's a part of Project Bluebeam that I think is overlooked. In my hypothetical alternate universe that I've taken you to here, right? I'm not strangling the alien, not yet. He's a good alien. But part of Project Bluebeam, hypothetically, one of the early stages before we have the alien threat on our doorstep, is a really significant find in the world of archaeology or space exploration that causes everyone to stop and rethink everything that we've known before. Okay? That's a really important stage of that, right? So if we go down that avenue, the hypothetical, speculatory, illusory avenue, okay? Could it be that there's a mission happening right now that is going to play a huge pivotal part? One of the main chapters of, there we call it, disclosure. And did you know that the OSIRIS-REx space probe that we have spoken about before, it's a kind of cool space probe. Not only does it have a cool sounding Egyptian name, but it was going to a really cool asteroid called Bennu. Now, if we come over here, well, it turns out that OSIRIS-REx is now on its way home with a belly full of goodies. And by goodies, I mean samples. Could it be that when they get those back to Earth, that will be a aha moment, and we'll have some big giant rollout, something confirmed that we've all suspected all along, that not only is there alien life out there, but when it comes to this rock, could it be that they'll discover that panspermia, the fact that life could have came here from another planet, say it was ejected off, well, I don't know, maybe somewhere like Mars or somewhere farther flung. Maybe an interstellar rock woof, escapes and gets here and it seeds life. That would almost be scientific evidence to refute all belief systems around the world and to potentially really throw a spanner in the works, right? But like I say, dare we even call it disclosure? Because in the end of the day, I don't know what's happening. I really don't. But when we come back after the break, we're going to take a listen to something really cool, and it doesn't come from Earth. So with that in mind, let me leave you with the not so dulcet tones of my really, really crappy music collection from the YouTube library. Here you go, folks. It's not only the upside down, it's the inversion of the upside down. Remember, folks, if you like it here and you want more, just massage that like button. Give it a rub from me. Hey, if you don't like what you get here, why are you staying here? But if you don't like it, tell me. Vote it down. Either way, the algorithm loves it. Cut that. That was painful even on my ears. But listen, folks, I'm not here to tell you this is going to be how it plays out or anything else. You know how we roll here. We just chat, we just chill. We get ready for the Kev Baker show ahead, which is going to have Jimmy Jeans on it today. And tomorrow, I would love for all of you to crash on over to the TFR chat room, since it's going to be episode number, and I can't believe it, 1500 on the Kev Baker show. Yes, exactly, Anne. Exactly. And if you said that any louder, I'd have to press my... Well, there was a few colourful words there. I think Anne's quite shocked at the 1500, as am I. The alien says there's 1500 more because he comes from the future. Hey, listen, every kind of, well, not every, but most content creators nowadays have some kind of shtick, some kind of LARP to blow up your tuchus. So I'm going to start receiving messages from the alien, okay? That's going to be my thing. I'm going to be channeling the alien. And people will think it's something up on a star far away, but you, the hardcore 42 that are here, you'll know what I'm talking about. A big shout out to Spooky Andy for the alien. It's actually a genuine alien. It comes from Roswell. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Don't question it. Don't question it. So listen, I don't know, but it feels to me like we're all building up to something with the UFO stuff. And I've been doing this a good few years, as you all know, and as 1500 episodes will kind of attest to. but I can't remember a time when there's been this much talk, this much interest, and of course, fueled by the change of attitude by the media towards us. And dare I say it, the change of attitude by the alphabet agencies, the Pentagon, but we must never, ever let our confirmation biases take over and fall into the trap of believing them just because they're telling us something that maybe we wanted to hear all along. We've got to be doubly cute. And I still think there's still a big part of me, because we're just gaming this out, not putting any money on any outcome. Still a part of me thinks we're on the verge of being shown some new physics, some new propulsion systems. And when I say new to us, but not new in the world of like black projects, okay? I know from my time in the army that we were testing out like mobile phones way before the mobile phone was something that really became popular on the market over here. And let's not get into the frequency bands and everything else. So with that said, though, there's another piece to this puzzle. It might not be, actually. I just find it highly interesting because I'm a little science geek and I love space. And I know that we love to hear noises on the show. Some of our best streams, some of our best shows over on TFR have been when we've had like clips and sounds to listen to, and we try and kind of work out what it is, or in this case, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You're about to hear the sounds of an alien planet, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just play a little bit, see if I can find it of this. You ready? Hang on now. There you go. That there is not me making a belly rumble. It's not me doing some kind of slow farting maneuver. It's actually, believe it or not, it's the sound of Mars. Yes, NASA's Perseverance rovers hears Ingenuity helicopter in flight. It's not even just another planet. It's the first flight of an unmanned craft built by man on Mars. Or at least in the time we have been living on this planet that we know of anyway, right? Still part of me thinks we came from Mars, but that's neither here nor there. Just take a little listen to that. Pretty weird, huh? Pretty weird. So listen, folks, listen. I'm going to come into the chat room. I'm going to see what people are saying, and then we're going to wrap it up. We're going to get Jimmy Jeans, and we're going to talk about the tribe of Dan. But before I do that, let me just grab a couple of seconds, get a drink of coffee. Placebo. Don't smoke them if you've got them. Or if you're going to, in fact, let's try an experiment. Now, again, I want you directing your energy down to Donnie down under, obviously, because he's a good friend, a brother, an elder of the KBS tribe. But if you could just spare a little bit of energy if you're smoking a PPP, and I want you to picture the Kev Baker show, be it the logo, be it me, when you're actually partaking of the PPP, I want to see if I can be the lucky recipient of the world's first telegraphic stone. I think that'd be pretty damn cool, right? So let me entertain you with some music. Hey, ZX, that would make a cracking name for a book, eh? Attack of the radioactive hamsters from a planet somewhere near me. Good lord, what's that hairy thing that's appeared on the screen? A Wookiee is trying to molest. It's trying to molest my alien. Pesky Wookiee. He only comes out on Freaky Friday. We know that. So yes, Rose was loving it when I was sitting petting my alien. So I'll just sit and pet my alien some more. I see Jungle Hip in there. Lewis, Wanda. Good to see you, Bruce. 2 ounces of asteroid gravel is not what I'd call a belly full, but it's still a first. Maybe it will have biological organisms. Oh, Bruce, you're being a little harsh, are you not? Bellies come in all shapes and sizes. You know, comes in all shapes and sizes. Yep. No, but that's exactly my point, dude. That's the point I was making, you know, probably badly. What could be in those samples? Ooh, booga booga. Who knows? Who knows? Kev's graphics remind me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. This one's the best one for that. Not that one. That one. I've got a few spacey ones kicking around. Oh, all in 4K stuff. Bruce, you know what I'm going to do? One day next week, I'm just going to string together all the spacey clips I've made. And we'll have a look and see if we're still on that par with 2001: A Space Odyssey. Oof. Tell you, that's a lot to live up to, man. Good to see you, Jungle Hip. Good to see you. As it is all of you. Hey, Chelsea have scored. That's always a good night. Let's see. Looks like YouTube manipulated the bell notifications are temperamental at best, dude. I honestly think we would be crazy if we're thinking somebody's sitting there stopping all like maybe 10 people from coming. Because on average on this stream we maybe get 50. At times we get 70. So I never get the bell either. I've turned the bell off on my phone, so that's why I don't get the bell on anyone. It is what it is, dude. You made it here. That's the main thing. And if you're over on Discord, my way of encouraging people to join us over in the crazy corner of the safe space in the twilight zone of an alternate timeline is to come to Discord, because we always can announce things in there. It's where we can all hang out, and it's where I got to hear Bernays last night. Bernays, it was good hearing you, man. Like I said at the start, good stuff. That's what I like about after KBS, after the main show. I get a breather. Everyone just chills out. Last night there was a good crowd in there. It looked like there was a show on, but it was just people chilling. And our Uncle Donnie is home now. And I think big shout out to everyone that said a prayer for Donnie. Travis, our friend Travis Short from Warrior Mode. He had some really, really good news that we'll be sharing over on Warrior Mode this weekend. But I think it goes to show that there is something in the power of prayer. If you call it intent, if you call it energy, I think we're all talking about the same thing, folks. But it's okay. It's okay to be different. In fact, I encourage us to be different. That's something I was saying over in Discord today as well, you know. Never feel just because it's the KBS name on that server that it's all things KBS. It's somewhere where I can alert people to shows coming up. Somewhere where we simulcast as well when we do the main show. Some people like to chill out in there with the friends they've made on Discord. But it's in no way, shape, or form an echo chamber. I've been on Discord servers where you see people just daring to question the person that owns the actual server and they get kicked for it. And that's crazy. It's crazy. You end up with a bunch of people that just talk like you, sound like you, and eventually you're all going to end up looking like each other if you don't be careful, you know? That's when it gets into the realms of being really culty and really creepy. We don't do creeps here. We just do lurkers. We encourage lurking. Yes, indeed. It's all about you and your journey. Don't take other people's research and thoughts and ideas and ramblings as your own. I like to think I can encourage people to go and dive down into these rabbit holes where they exist. And I try my best to keep you out of the rabbit holes that'll have you chasing your tail. But we're all learning. 1,500 episodes in, and I wouldn't dare ever say I know what I'm doing. Absolutely not. It's all about learning. That's the journey. And just being aware of that, not getting sucked into too many of the really triggery things. I think that kind of qualifies as hashtag winning. Yeah, that's what I think. But I could be mad, and I'm hardly going to say that I'm wrong. But you know what I'm saying? That's how we roll here on KBS, right? Just be careful what you wish for, says nothing as it seems. Absolutely. That's why that's a saying. Because wishing for something is intent. And sometimes it can come back to bite you on the bum. You know, you might wish for, say, oh, I don't know. I remember Donnie talking about how he wished for rain one time when there was a drought. And before he knew it, it was like a flash flood in the area. Got what he wished for. Not exactly. And that's why you got to be careful. You got to be very careful with every thought you have. We are intention generators. And we're constantly on transmit, whether we know it or not. And that's how we can affect the world around us, by affecting the people around us. We don't want to be that person that walks into the room and drains the energy. I would like to think that when a KBS listener goes into the room, that's when it lights up. That's when the conversation gets going. That's when you see people going, oh yes, I wonder what they've got to talk about today. And remember, talk to them the way I talk to you. Don't talk at them. Just encourage them to think for themselves and finish everything with, well, at the end of the day, I don't know. There you go. That's my advice after 1,500 episodes, folks. To be honest and say, I don't know. Because none of us ever know. You know, two of us could watch the same thing. Exactly the same thing, but we would describe it in an entirely different way. We would experience it in a different way because of who we are. So there's no two people are ever going to see the same way on anything. But that's good. That's great. Because A, we want to be our own person, and B, it would be boring if we were all the same. Totally boring. So with that said, another little drink of coffee, couple of minutes, go and get the Jim Bob. I'm surprised he's not in here harvesting his dopamine by now. Usually he's in so that he gets the dopamine squirt, you know? Ah, Jimmy, I know. Exactly, Wraith, I don't know. Look at that. That was almost synchronistic, right? If you've used Skype, you'll know that there's this little thing that tells you when somebody's seen your message. And if you remember at the start of the stream, I took 2 seconds out to send Jimmy the link. So when Jimmy comes in here in about 30 seconds time, right, we'll all pretend like, hey, Jimmy, how's it going, man? It'll be fun. So I'm going to go for a little break while we wait for Jimmy. Remember, we haven't been talking about him, okay? Shh. I bloody lost the plot. Was the night before 1500. Jimmy Jeans can't join us for the last little bit of the show here today, but he will be live in 20 minutes time. I'll be back in a moment. I ain't going anywhere. And nor would I want to. Nor would I want to bet. Oh, I look forward to that day. It'll signify me getting really, really old. I look forward to having grandchildren. Man, it's going to be, it'll probably be nearly as cool as that moment the big man came into the world. And for anyone who has kids, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's the game changer. Oh boy. But in a brilliant way. In an absolutely fantastic way. I was sent a story to a friend today. In fact, first in the chat, more of Ron. I hate calling him that because he's far from a moron. And it was a story about how girls out there are really thinking twice and wondering whether it's worth having children. Here we are on the cusp of a space age, and we're literally looking at people now questioning whether it's right or not to bring new life into the world. It's far from perfect, ladies and gentlemen, but I can guarantee it'll change your world forever. And that can be what you're all about. Who am I to tell anyone what to do with their life? But it worries me. It worries me when I see a trend towards people maybe, thinking twice about bringing a new life into this world. It's one of the most amazing things that one can do. And for anyone who can, my heart goes out to them for whatever reason. But to make an active choice, I find that very, 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 very worrying for our longevity, if nothing else. Brave New World is a book I would urge everyone to read. And I even watched the modern adaptation on Sky TV not long ago. But that's about a world where nobody has babies anymore. It ain't a nice place. I think it's all of our worst fears rolled into one when you look at Brave New World. But we're not there yet. We don't need to be there because we create our future. As much as others try and steer and direct us, we are the masters of our own little universe. Never ever forget that. And that's why they fear people coming together and being harmonious and accepting our differences because they can't beat that. They really can't beat that. And that's why they keep us fighting and chasing our tails and lying to us. And you can change that. You really can. So listen, as my old friend Popeye used to say, if you're looking for the change, go and take a look in the mirror because it's already here. And on that note, getting all philosophical and sentimental as I think about episode number 1499. Holy shimoly, can you believe it? And I can't think of a better person to round out the first 1500 shows with than Jimmy Jeans. And on the same vein, tomorrow to kick off the next 1500 shows with Scotty Lopez. So I'll see you all in 16 minutes over in tfrlive.com for the craziest podcast and the only podcast to come to you live from Speculation Island. Nobody else can claim that one, right? That's ours. That's my shtick. And here we have the Roo. I'm going to keep that up there. I can't really keep it up there because it disappears. In fact, that really fixes my radio face. I could be like the one-eyed radio. Oh, you know what people are going to say now, right? I'm part of the cabal. Because I've only got one eye showing. But I'm going to keep the Australian flag here for as long as we need to keep Donny in fine spirits. And I will be back very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. I love all of you, even the ones that hate me. Just to annoy you even more, I love the people who hate me even more. It's the hate that keeps you going, folks. So listen, no, I'm only joking. It's love, love, love. That's what keeps us going. And I am out of here. Once I find a little tune here. Let me see. Wait till we see something that will take us back to the old days. The old days. Here we go. Are we ready? Here we go. I think this is it. Maybe. No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, where's that? What's that that's playing? Oh, that's that thing. Hang on, folks. I'll get it sorted. Don't worry. Shh. Where is it? It's coming. It's coming. You ready? Hey, there it is. There it is. So remember to like, remember to share. And if you want to become a member, and you don't have to, but if you want to, I would really appreciate it. We would all appreciate it here at KBS HQ. You can click the join button, or if you have just won the lottery, there's a PayPal link in the description. But aside from that, I'm out of here. I'll be back real soon. Big shout out to Paddy, who put this little track together. Okay, hold on. Let's get a promo for tonight's show, shall we? No, it's not connecting.
I'm here.
Oh, Skype's still ringing. You hear that?
Well, I'm here, though.
Well, tell people. They can probably hear the bleeping in the background, but tell people what's going to be happening on the show today, Jimmy.
Dude, the tribe of Dan is off the hook. Seriously, there's some connections
Well,
to
we're still on YouTube right now, so just tell people, give them a little taster.
Well, you know how we've been talking about these red-haired giants, the red-haired people eaters?
Yes.
Well, it turns out that there's some red-haired Jews that may be descendants directly to these red-haired giants.
Magic, that'll do. They have to come and tune in for more. You can find us over at TFR Live or over on Disco. We're out of here.